Literally.
Oh, Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
These chips are making me thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not eating chips. They're your chips. I had to call in reinforcements. Thank you, sir. You're an officer and a gentleman.
I can't turn on the
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. There we go.
Can you see anything, Tone? Tone, can you see anything? If you take those off, can you see anything?
Okay, so I'm telling you right now, I take them off. This is the problem with using them. And where it says at the top fluent and chill, that I know it says it. It is so blurry.
Can't see it.
And here it says our names. I know what they say. Can't see it. Can't see it. Can't see it. I'm blind. What up, y'all? What up, chat? Man, that makes me feel older than I am. I can't even see. People are gonna actually love this because they hate my soundboard. I can't even see to read like which button, because I have like 4 different sets of sounds, and they're labeled. So like I'm pressing this, don't know what it does.
All my fellas.
Oh, okay. All my fellas. I didn't even use that.
All my fellas.
I need those mic and glasses. Did you see? I finally did it.
What did you do?
I finally did it. I finally put out my first episode of recapping every single season in NBA history, starting with the first real NBA season, the 1949-1950 season. So they're going to be like 2 minutes, and just they're high level. And I'm going to see if there's interest, because if people say, I want to know more about that season, then we'll do a deeper dive. But I put it out. It's 2 minutes long. You know, it talks about how the talks about the NBL and the BAA joining and becoming the BAA in I think it's March 7th, 1949, when they make that agreement. They start the actual NBA. George Mikan leads, no surprise, the NBA in points per game that season. The Lakers beat the Nationals 4-2 in the finals. Like, it goes through like that stuff. The rules, there's no 3-point line, no shot clock. And it was the first year that they introduced goaltending, because, well, Mikan was just jumping up and swatting balls away.
Can't do that. Nope. Can't do that. Nope. Can't do that. My question, Tone, is if the NBA actually started, because we have a merger of both the ABA and the NBA. Is that correct? In 1977.
In 76, 77. Yes.
In 76, 77. We have a merger of the NBA and the ABA. But it was already the NBA. So the ABA merges with the NBA, right? So with that being said, the BAA and the NBL merge, from what you're telling me, to form the NBA.
Correct.
So if that's true, then why is the NBA recognized for 75th anniversary, which was 3 years ago? I don't understand that, because if it happened, when did it actually happen in your estimation, Tone?
Which part? When did they actually become the NBA?
When is it the NBA?
Oh, I tell you. Let me tell you the exact date. But right. I believe it's March 7th. But I don't want to misquote myself. It is exactly, because I have it right here.
Yep.
The
reason why I'm asking you this, Tone, is because
my bad. I was see. This is why I checked my date. August 3rd, 1949.
Yep.
August 3rd, 1949. I'll make it nice and big for everybody. August 3rd, 1949. There's the video. There's my shining, beautiful face. August 3rd, 1949. The NBL, the National Basketball League, and the Basketball Association of America, the BAA, merge and become the NBA.
In 1949.
1949, correct.
Okay,
August 3rd, 1949.
So 2019, that's 70 years. I want to make sure that I'm correct.
This is the 75th anniversary this year.
Right. So why are you why are they telling me in 2020? I think it was 2023. I think that's where the All-Star game was in Cleveland. They said it was 70. So the NBA did not start in 47.
It's honestly, it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie because the teams that were in the BAA, right? I don't even think maybe some of them exist still. Let me.
None of them do. None of them. The
You
Minneapolis Lakers. No, none of them are. None of them are here. Syracuse, Rochester. And Rochester was when Bob Cousy showed up.
But wasn't Rochester the Royals that became now the Sacramento Kings?
It was Cincinnati. It was Rochester to Cincinnati to Sacramento.
It bounced around, but
what I'm saying,
46, 47. There was the Washington Capitals, the Philadelphia Warriors, who now are the Golden State Warriors, the New York Knicks, still the New York Knicks, the Celtics, still the Celtics. So the Knicks, Celtics, and Warriors are still around. Warriors in a different city. The Providence Steamrollers, gone. Toronto Huskies, gone. Chicago Stags, gone. St. Louis Bombers, gone. Cleveland Rebels, gone. Detroit Falcons, gone. Pittsburgh Ironmen, gone.
So with all of that being said, Tone, I'm trying to make sense in why, because now what we're doing is we're fabricating when it started. It didn't start in 47. That's not when the NBA. That's not when the NBA started.
Correct. It drives me nuts.
Here's the question that I'm having, though, Tone.
That's what I hate most, is the truth.
This is the problem that I'm having, because if the NBA started in 47, because like I said, Tone, in 76, 77, the ABA merged with the NBA. So, and the NBA was already in existence.
Yes.
Which means that if you're telling me that in 1949, these two leagues merged, that must mean that the NBA had already been in existence and they just changed the name.
No, it's there was no such thing as the NBA. It's much like this. Look, the NFL existed and there was an AFL. And when they merged, the AFL came into the NFL, and that's why you use the NFL history. However, what do like 95% of the people? Oh, they think it started after that merger, and they only count like in Super Bowl history. Right? No. How many times do you hear stuff pre-Super Bowl?
You don't.
You'll hear about a player or two. Specifically, you'll hear about
Otto Graham.
No, the Cleveland Browns. I'm drawing a blank on the running back. Jesus.
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown. Yes, Jim Brown. Yep. You'll hear about him, right? But you never hear. Do you ever hear that the Green Bay Packers have the most NFL titles? Never.
Nope.
Do you hear that the Bears? Do you hear that the Bears have the second most NFL titles? I wish they do, but they don't.
The reason why. Right. It was pre-Super Bowl era, and when the Super Bowl actually happened, which was in 67, if I'm not mistaken, that's when we had the merger. But up until that point, we still had the NFL. Yes. So the thing that I'm having trouble with is if the NBA actually came into existence in 1949, why aren't we recognizing that it was the NBL and the BAA, which became the NBA in 1949? Because in order for it to be the NBA from 1947, that means that the NBA was already here.
Correct.
And the BAA merged with the NBA. Okay, well, that clearly is not what happened. That's not what happened.
It's not what happened.
So what are we doing? I don't understand that. So this whole 75th anniversary, okay, that's a sham.
Correct.
That's not what happened.
Correct. They couldn't wait.
Because this is actually the 75th year.
Correct. This is the 75th year, which also skews everything else, right? Because you're 50, you're 7. Heck, it hurts my team. It hurts my Lakers because technically they didn't three-peat as NBA champions, right? Because two of them were BAA champion, and then they were the first NBA champion, which is kind of, I believe, the same thing with Green Bay. Green Bay won 2 championships and then win the first Super Bowl. But no one says they won 3 Super Bowls in a row. They don't get credit. Remember, we were all talking about Kansas City being the first team to three-peat. Well, Green Bay
what
did that technically. They won 2 NFL championships, and then they won the first Super Bowl.
Well, you only count the Super Bowl. You only count the Super Bowl era, right? It's not NFL championship.
But it's still NFL.
It's still NFL.
The
It 100% is that.
the AFL teams would have lost. The AFL teams would have lost 1,000%. They would have lost.
Are you sure?
In those years, yes. In those years, yes. And don't even tell me about the Jets and the Colts, because you know that was damn fixed.
No, I don't know that, so no, I do not.
Pretty boy shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Threw for like negative 10 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, get out of here, man. Fix.
There's a difference between lighting up the scoreboard and being famous. What are you famous for? Joe Namath is famous.
Joe Namath is famous for the people he dated and his fur coats. My man for his career is like a 500 career quarterback who threw more interceptions than touchdowns, but we're gonna praise him and put him in the hall of bull crap.
Y'all dudes is just, man. But you know, whatever the truth is, I mean, if that's the truth, then bet. If that's what the truth is, then bet. Because I don't want to just slander somebody just for the purpose of slandering them. If that's the truth, then that's something completely different. I don't like this.
Look at the stats. Even look at the stats. You'll see BAA stats. Hard to find NBL stats, by the way. But BAA stats starting 46, 47. And it says BAA. And then in 49.50, it changes to NBA, because that's the National Basketball Association of, like,
doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Because if that's true, then this year is the 75th year anniversary of the NBA. I need some clarity. I do.
I want to know, because so we have established the Warriors, the Celtics, the Knicks are still in existence, although the Warriors changed. I can't even. I haven't looked. NBL teams 1946, because there was actually a couple of other leagues as well. But these were the 2 biggest leagues. So here we go. So 1946, 47. And the NBL was actually playing before the BAA. They were playing in 45, 46. So they had the Fort Wayne. So see, here's a team. They were the Fort Wayne Pistons,
which became the Detroit Pistons.
Rochester Royals, who became eventually Ox's Sacramento Queens. The Youngstown Bears, the Cleveland Transfers. These names are hilarious, by the way.
What the hell?
Sheboygan. Yeah, Sheboygan Redskins. Allowed to say that. The Oshkosh All-Stars, the Chicago American Gears, and the Indianapolis. What? The Indianapolis Cats guys. I don't know what the hell that says. Okay, so that's them, and then they add teams. Another team in Detroit they add the Syracuse Nationals, the Tri-City Blackhawks. And if you look, when you go, so that's 47, 48, 47, 48. So those teams are the teams that still, like, they become NBA teams. So if you look at the 48, 49, as that 48, 49 is their last season as NBL. And you have the Packers, who are gone, the Nationals, who moved to the NBA, the Dayton Reigns, the Detroit Kings, the Oshkosh All-Stars, the Tri-City Blackhawks, by the way, who play the first NBA game ever, like NBA game, and lose.
Right.
The Sheboygan Waterloo Hawks. So that, and the Denver, and they lose to the Denver Nuggets. That's the first NBA game ever, is the Denver Nuggets beating the Tri-City Blackhawks. So there you go. Now you're more fluent. What can I tell you?
Clearly, I mean,
yeah.
This whole when did the NBA start and when did it not start? Because Tom, we got so much information out here that it's difficult to get latched on to something specifically. And I'm thinking to myself, who do I believe? Because one minute, like for example, Mars and I are having a conversation today about the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got the number 1 offense in the league. Okay, no, they don't. Cleveland's got the number 1 offense in the league. But I mean, who do I listen to? Who do I believe here?
Well, are you basing it on stats? Or are you basing it on like your opinion?
No, according to basketballreference.com,
the
Cleveland Cavaliers have the number 1 offensive rating in the league.
Okay,
Numero
so
uno.
we're going off offensive rating.
They got the best offense in the game.
Okay.
They're number one. I believe they're number one in the league in points today. So because of that, I'm thinking, all right, well, the Oklahoma City Thunder got the best offense. Okay, well, wait, they got the best net. They got the best offense. They got the best net rating in NBA history. So with all of this information, you just telling me, because just so you guys know, I don't know everything. Let's get to the bottom of that right now. I do not
Really?
know.
Because
No.
my haters on X will tell me that you cook me every week because you know everything and I know nothing.
I do not know everything. No, I don't. No, Tone schools me plenty on what I don't know. Like, for example, the top
Right.
75, that was 2 years ago. In 25, that was in 22 or 20.
But you're right. You're right. Basketball Reference does have them as having their first in points per game at 122.3. And they are first
number one
in offensive rating. Yeah.
So, I mean, I keep getting different information, and I'm thinking to myself, I got to pick something to believe. I trust Basketball Reference. I trust NBA. Basketball Reference and NBA.com are two sources that I go to.
Those are the two that I would believe more than others. Although NBA.com, I will say, I found errors on their site, so I still double check them. But I will not trust StatMuse. StatMuse is like there's so many errors. Like, I mean, so many errors in StatMuse. It's not even funny. And I tell someone said to me, Google. Don't trust Google or ChatGPT, because ChatGPT, you can literally put in stuff and know that it's wrong. Like, I've purposely put in stuff and then I said, hey, that's incorrect. This is the right answer. Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh my God. So they know it's wrong too.
Yeah, they know it's wrong once you point it out, because all ChatGPT does is it scours the internet. So if you post something that's incorrect somewhere, and like on my website, if you go to sportsfluent.com and we were to post a bunch of incorrect information, it'll pick that up. And the more places that it finds it, the more it'll spit it out and do it. So, you know, it's incredible. You can't trust it. You can't trust it.
That's incredible.
Cleaning the glass. So that's, someone said here, cleaning the glass is the best, but you have to pay for it, but it gives you everything. But I've never used cleaning the glass. But it's just like anything else. You don't know it's accurate. Like, you remember we had the guy who created Basketball Reference, who
couldn't tell me what box plus minus means.
Who couldn't tell you what blocks. Well, now he left before that stat came out. But that being said, he said we had to put it in manually at first. Well, when you're putting it in manually, that automatically means there's going to be errors, because there's human errors. It's impossible to put in that many statistics and there not be a mistake. And then the second part is, well, now we scrape the data, and I don't know how familiar you guys are with like computer jargon, lingo, whatever. But if you're pulling it or scraping it from, where are you getting it from? Well, you're pulling it from other sites. And when you pull it from other sites, guess what? There's data transfer errors. There's errors in information. Again, someone's keying it in at some point, right? AI isn't that good where it's like it's taking the game and then flipping it into this perfect, place that, and then and that's the problem. There are errors. Now, you trust, one's a little bit more than others, but even Basketball Reference, which I do trust, isn't perfect. They're the closest thing I've seen, but they're not perfect.
Would that be the same thing, Tone, as putting it in manually, like when they manually check the score with Chamberlain when he scored 100?
Yeah, that's 100%. Like that's why he could have scored, just easily scored 107 or 91. And just bring that up. Hold on, I just want to go through. My kids, my basketball.
Just so y'all know that Tone is a conspiracy theorist, and once I get him started,
my basketball team. We had a few extra minutes, so we do film study before one of our practices every week, and typically it's either watching a game and like we'll stop and rewatch plays and say, what'd you do here, what'd you do there, what do you see here, what do you see there, what should you have done, what could you have done, what did you do well. I want to stay positive too. Other times, like last time, was whiteboard work where we're drawing up plays and saying, okay, where do you go here, so they understand, and if this happens, what does that happen, which people think, dude, your kids are like 11, and I'm like, yeah, they got to learn it now, because no one typically does that with them. And then when they get to a point where it's like it's the first time they're seeing this, And then it's just like this shock. Now imagine this kid now goes to an AAU or a high school team or whatever, and the coach pulls out the whiteboard, starts doing it. They're going to be like, "Bam! Oh, I can reverse that play. Boo, boo, boo!" Right? Because they've seen it before. They're not afraid of it. So that's why I do it. That being said, we had some extra time, and I said, "Hey, what do you guys want to talk about?" And they're like, "Hey, we saw one of your things on TikTok about Wilt not scoring 100. Why do you think he scored 100 or didn't?" And I said, "It's not that I don't." All jokes aside, right? I said, "It's not that I don't believe it's out there. However, there's more evidence that you should question it than there is that it happened. So what do we have proof that it happened? We have one guy who wrote it on a piece of paper and kept track of the score. That's it. That's all we really have. That's all we have is the scorekeeper.
Well, actually, the proof that we have is one, the game happened. So that's the proof that we have.
No one's suggesting the game didn't happen, but the proof that he scored exactly 100 points.
Right.
The only thing that we have is the scorekeeper's sheet. That's the only proof that we have.
Correct.
Here are the things that make me question that it was 100% accurate. One, it's one guy watching a game where they scored 300 points. Do you know how fast the pace of that game must have been for him to track all by himself all the points, all the rebounds, all the assists, all the fouls, all the foul shots? Like that's a lot for one person to do. And when
can you give him more credit? I mean, I am pretty good at this though, Tone. I mean, can you give me some credit that I could do it though? Is that fair?
In a smoky little barn house with a Giants in front of you and not very good sight lines, I'm going to question if you're going to keep everything perfect. Perfect. That's the thing that I'm saying. Perfect. Fouls, everything, right? And then when I see the piece of paper that allegedly is the real thing, it is so neat. And I'm like, how did he keep everything so perfectly neat as everything was happening so fast? So I give him credit if he did that. Here's where I start to question. You're trying to build up the league. You're trying to build up the NBA so much so that you're going to put games in neutral sites to draw in different fans. So you take the best scorer in the world, because at that season, it was late in the season, don't forget. It wasn't early in the season. It was March. It was at the tail end of the season.
About a month left in the season.
And you take the biggest scorer who's averaging 50 points per game, the biggest star in the league. You take him to Hershey, Pennsylvania. You don't have a photographer. You don't have a reporter. You don't have a video camera, which was available. You don't have a radio broadcast team there. Nothing.
But here's the thing, though, Tone. Hold on. That's where it gets tricky. That's where it gets tricky, because there is actual radio of the game.
Hold on. That's going to be another question mark. So because there's no radio broadcast team there, how did they get it? Because typically what they did is someone's watching the game, it's being videotaped, and they're watching in a studio somewhere, and they're commenting a second after something happens. That's how the radio broadcast worked back then. Well, there's no radio broadcast.
But if we can hear Chamberlain, we can hear the radio. We can hear the radio guy. We can hear the radio guy. Chamberlain, he's up to 69.
I'll tell you in a second. No, they definitely didn't say 69 because they only have the last 2 minutes. And the last 2 minutes of the radio broadcast, they didn't get until 5 years after the game when someone said, I recorded this game off the radio, but I taped over it, and I only have the last 2 minutes, supposedly. So you want me to believe it took him 5 years to figure out that he had the 100-point game recorded and recorded it and then taped over the 100-point game and only had the last just under 2 minutes? Question mark. In the 2 minutes of the radio broadcast, at the end of it, it says pandemonium. Walt Chamberlain has scored 100 points and they've flooded the floor and they can't finish the game, but they finished the game. So the radio broadcast doesn't even match with the players who said, no, 100%, we finished the game.
Actually, it didn't, because Chamberlain said they didn't finish the game. He said they stopped the game.
They said they did finish the game.
Chamberlain said they stopped the game. This is from Chamberlain himself.
Exactly. Yet the NBA says he played 48 full minutes.
So I don't understand what this.
Inconsistency there. Wait, there's more. The fact that they had to go to a guy in the stands and say, hey, can you go to your car and get a camera to take a picture of the 100 tells you more than you need to know. But that being said, there's more. Harvey Pollack, the scorekeeper himself,
yes, sir,
said it got to the point where it was like Wilt was scoring everything. I just was marking down points for him. That's a direct quote. Oh, by the way, do you know what Harvey Pollock's other job, actually his full-time job was? Because he wasn't a full-time scorekeeper. Like he was, but you know what his other job was?
I know he worked for the 76ers. I do know that.
No, he was the Warriors, you mean?
The Warriors, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was the public relations guy.
For the Warriors.
For the Warriors, the team that Wilt Chamberlain played on.
Mm-hmm. In addition to being a scorekeeper.
And he happened to be the scorekeeper of that game where he scored exactly 100 points.
So are you saying that there's some fluff there? It sounds like it's some fluff there, Tone. That's what it sounds like. Sound like we got some inflation over here going on. That's what it sounds like.
That's all I'm saying is
like we purposefully got some inflation going on.
When you look at all of those things, all I'm saying is more questions than the one piece of evidence, which is a piece of paper that the PR guy filled out. And when people say, well, what about all the people in the stands? I say this. All the people in the stands, tell me a game that you went and watched and you were tracking without looking at the scoreboard, how many points a player had.
Because we didn't have jumbotrons back then. We did
no jumbotrons. Because I'll tell you, and you know this, I was at the 81-point Kobe game.
Yes, you did tell me that.
I didn't know how many points he had until he hit about 70, and we looked up at the jumbotron and went, damn, yes. I'm not LeBron. I'm not LeBron. I didn't say I think he's going to go for 70 tonight. That didn't happen. It was a bad.
So
game.
when he's got 55 or he's got 62, Tone, you're not looking up at the scoreboard. You're not going.
No,
62.
I knew he was having a good game, but I'm not typically watching the jumbotron. I want to. We had pretty good seats too. I want to watch the game.
Sure.
And I want to see the players. I don't want to watch. If I can watch it on TV, then I'm gonna watch the jumbotron. But there was a couple we knew because if you remember the first half, he wasn't crazy.
He scored 55 in the second half.
Yeah. So he had 27 in the first, 26 in the first, which is good. You're thinking, okay, he's going to drop 40, 42, right? He's not going to play that much. It's the Raptors, they're sub 500 team. So it really didn't hit me personally till I looked up and I went, hold on, he has 70. And then we were all we all started going crazy. And we were eating, drinking, having a good time. It wasn't. But yeah. So that's all I'm saying is there's way more question marks than and like I said, if this was a court of law and you had to prove without a reasonable doubt,
beyond a shadow of a doubt, sure,
you would lose this court case 100% of the time. That's all I'm saying.
Damn, where were we now? Fast forward to 2025, which is where we are today.
Yeah. Well, now we got my favorite part of the show.
Yes, sir.
We got headlines.
What's going on?
First downs.
Oh boy.
First downs are in the who would have thought we'd be talking about football? But it'll be quick. How do you feel? How do you feel about this? So they're going to get rid of the chain gang, and they're going to introduce first down by, I don't know, what do you want to call it?
AI, Tone, say it.
AI?
That's what it is. AI.
Okay. So AI.
A damn I.
Well, they already have the yellow line that is approximate,
which they tell us not to go off of. By the way, they tell us not to go off of that. By the way, so now what you're going to do is you're going to add. Yeah, don't believe that. But not only are they telling us not to believe the imaginary line, now we're going to put actual artificial intelligence and tell us to believe that. That's what you're telling us now. Tone, I don't like this at all, man.
I love it. I hope they bring AI refs.
No, Tone, because one of the great parts
for real.
Oh my God. One of the great parts about the game is the human error.
No, that's one of the worst parts.
No, that's the great part about it. It's human error. You turning over the basketball. You missing a shot. A referee missing That's part of the game. That's the human error part of the game.
So you're telling me
the
when a
players
player doesn't get touched and he goes to the foul line and shoots 2 game-winning free throws, that's better than getting the call right?
That's part of the game, Tone. That's the human error part of the game. Like just like Vinny Testaverde getting stopped at the 1 yard line and they called a touchdown. That was awful. But that's part of the game.
That's
we've
what
already
is wrong with the game. We want to fix what's wrong.
And we've already instituted, right? We've already instituted instant replay. And referees still get that wrong.
That's because ego won't allow them to overturn a call because it makes them look bad.
I'm glad you brought that up. You know why I'm glad you brought that up? Because that sounds like human error to me. That's what that sounds like.
No, human error. It's not purposeful. I think it's purposeful. I think they see it and they're like, "Nah, I made this call. I'm sticking with it."
When you go, when I personally believe that it's like a test. If I can go back before I turn the test in and say, well, wait a minute, I think I might have got this wrong. Let's go back and look at that.
All right, let me ask you a question. It's been a long time since you were in school. I get it.
Sure.
However, let me ask you a question. So, hey, Jermaine, you're studying. You need to pass this exam to pass your course and to get the job of your dreams. It's an open book test. Nah, I'm good. I'm going to close the book because human error. I want to make those mistakes. I want to know that what I don't know.
No. How about this, Tone? Nope. No. Here's why. Because we've had people fail open book tests before. So let's be clear about that. An open book test is not foolproof.
That's pretty bad.
Yes. We've had people fail open book tests. Just like we've had refs who go back and look at the film and it's obvious that you got it wrong and still get it wrong. That's the human error part of this. Now, when we're talking about AI, I think I think the first down, moving the sticks, move the chains, that's a part of football, the human part of football. You've already told us that you want to challenge where the spot is. Okay, we got that down.
But they get that wrong too. Don't you want like when you see blatant calls, like
AI is not going to get it right neither. AI it's computer generated, which means that's flawed too. There is no absolute in this, Tone. There isn't. And what we're doing is we're taking.
Wouldn't you rather be more accurate than less accurate?
We're taking all the human.
I've always
want to do that. Yes, I do, Tone.
Baseball is a perfect example. They have a box. They show it on the screen. Why couldn't there be AI or another ump who's sitting there watching the screen who buzzes them and says, bzz, strike, bzz, ball, bzz. So at least they get them right, because when you see it's 2 feet off the plate and everyone's like, what the hell is wrong with this dude? He didn't have his glasses on. He didn't see. And you say it's the human error, but it's the human frustration because they didn't know any better. It's like saying, well, we didn't used to have cars, so let's stick to horse and buggy. Oh, forget the escalators. We're only taking the stairs because why would we get better and advance? You are a vegan. Sorry, my friend. You need to eat raw meat like they did before they discovered fire. No, that's ridiculous. You would never do that. You would never do that. So why do you want to do that here?
I'm not doing that here, though, Tone. I
don't want to advance. I want to move on.
No, I do want to advance. What I don't want to do is I don't want to take the human element out of it. And what you're doing when you do this, we've already got instant replay. We've already got challenging first downs. We've already got markers on the TV that tell us where first down is. Now what you're going to do is you're going to add AI, which is also computer generated. You're taking the human element out of the game.
Why can't they work together? Why can't they work together?
Because you still get it wrong.
But
still
more so work together?
No, this is the problem that I'm having, Tone. This is the problem that I'm having with these guys being with AI being a part of the game. When you take the human element out of the game, now the game looks more rigged. The idea that this is exactly what it looks like. You got AI, you got the human element is gone, and with it being gone, there shouldn't be any flaws. But with these flaws now, which we still have, now people are saying we still have a problem with artificial intelligence. So now I want to take that stuff out and I want to leave the human element in it, because when you take the human element out of it, then what's next is what you just talked about with quarterbacks. I'm going to have AI generated quarterbacks. I'm going to have AI generated running backs.
Good.
I'm going to have AI generated players.
You're just scared of AI.
AI, yo.
You don't want to AI chill.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
so
I don't.
you know what then? if you don't want to get it right, because that's what you're really saying, you want there to be human error.
Tone, that's
Yes,
not
you are.
what I'm
Then
saying.
hold on. No, hold on. I'm okay with that, but then you can't be in the middle. So you want human error is part of the game? Cool. Then get rid of the waste of time nonsense called instant replay. If they get it wrong, they get it wrong. Keep going. That's it. Keep going. Just keep going. Because what has ruined every sport is challenge flags, replays. They sit there for 20 minutes with their head under a curtain, having a coffee or something, and pretend, it's like when you go to a car dealership and the sales guy goes, "I got to go talk to my manager because I used to be the manager," and he comes in and he sits down and we talk about the game for 20
really
minutes.
ain't doing shit because it really doesn't take this long.
Go out
It
and tell them we can't do the deal. It's fake. So you know what?
doesn't take this
Eliminate it. Just eliminate it completely. Just eliminate it completely.
I don't mind advancing the game. What I don't want to do is I don't want to make this the entirety of the game. And that's what we're moving towards, Tone. When we have AI first downs and first down markers and instant replay, we're taking the human element out of the game. Like I told you, Tone, what's next? What's next is AI generated football players.
And you know what'll happen? Woodage is right. The Bears will end up getting the worst AI generated quarterback.
Garbage. We can't even get that right. We can't even get that right.
Rubbing that in my face. I really needed that right now. Oh my goodness. I don't even know where we're going to next. What's next? Ja down. Ja down. How much power can one NBA player have that 10 games before the season ends, when you are in 5th place? At the time that this happened, I know it's changed since, but at the time it happened, you're in 5th place. You have the exact same record as the Los Angeles Lakers, who have superstar LeBron James, superstar Luka Doncic. Prior to that, Anthony Davis, genius head coach JJ Redick. You have the same record as them. That's who you're playing in the first round of the playoffs, and 10 games before the playoffs or the season ends, you're like, "Hey, Jenkins, peace." How does that happen? Like, and this is Ja. This isn't like choir boy,
right?
Ready to take over the face of the league. Ja, like this is his prove it year. Prove that you can, that you're gonna be healthy and proper off the court,
right? Which we haven't had any nonsense.
How does he get him ousted?
I don't think he did though, Tone. But I think Coach Jenkins was already on the hot seat before this season started.
Then fire him before the season starts.
That's what I was thinking.
Or fire him after the season.
But here's the thing. I also think that there was some underlying things going on. I'll give you an example, Tone. And you're a football guy, I remember Coach Belichick said in the beginning of the 2001 season, he thought Brady was his guy. But Bledsoe had already signed a contract extension, and he had to go with Bledsoe. But he wanted to start Brady. That was his guy. I think that the brass with the Memphis Grizzlies, I think that the majority of them, I feel like they were out on Jenkins. But we had this bad season last year. Ja was hurt. Jalen, not Ja was hurt. Marcus Smart was hurt. JJJ was hurt. Desmond Bain was. The whole crew was hurt. So we can't oust him on that.
Weren't they with all of that? Weren't they the 2 seed at one point?
The year before that, they were the 2 seed, and they got bounced in round 1.
Yeah.
And they bounced in round 1.
This season, didn't they start off?
At one point, they would have. In fact, Tone, this was less than a month ago. They were the 2 seed. They were the number 2 seed.
So with all those injuries and everything going on, this horrible coach that nobody liked that they were out on had them at the 2 seed.
Yeah, they were the number 2 seed this season. And the complaint is Ja in particular, wanted the ball in his hands more. And for all intents and purposes, Tone, we live in a very pick and roll heavy league. Memphis is at the bottom of the league in pick and roll. But they actually play the kind of style that Ja Morant digs. They are number 1 in the league in pace. There's no other team in the league that plays at a faster pace. According to basketballreference.com, Ja Morant.
Are you getting sponsored by them? You've mentioned them 5 times.
No, because when I say stuff, I want to make sure that my source is cited. Ja Morant is on the Memphis Grizzlies, and they play with the number 1 pace. That's Ja's game. Ja's game is getting up and down the floor. So He's not happy with the offense. When the game slows down, he wants the ball in his hands more because that's the kind of guard that he is. And that's not the way that this is going on. And on top of that, Tone, this new coach that they have in Tomas, I think he was their guy from the beginning.
Right.
But like Brady and like Brady and Bledsoe, I think that they had to give Coach Jenkins another shot because I think they wanted to move on from him.
That's
and
fine.
Give the job to Tomas.
Now, then bring him in after the season. The timing,
the timing was definitely curious. 100%.
And let me ask you, how often, as a player, dictating who the coach is and the style of play, how often does that actually work?
Dictating the players dictating the style of play.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, it happens a lot, Tone. I mean, tell me when it worked. So in 82, when they got rid of Westhead, they started playing fast with the Lakers because it just wasn't working with Westhead. Pat Riley comes in and starts to speed the game up. Magic needs these guys to speed the game up.
When did they fire Westhead?
In the beginning, it was in the beginning of the season, like the first month of the season, he was fired.
Was it 10 games left in the season?
No, it was not. It was not at the end of the season. No.
That's one.
Let's see.
Because Magic, for those that don't know, Magic did say it's him or me. Like, trade me or fire him, and they made the right choice.
So the Celtics also in the 80s with Casey Jones. Casey Jones said, "You guys are going to determine how we play," and that's how that pace played. He put the ball in Bird's hands, and they ran a lot of action through the big man. And
sorry, who did they fire because Bird said fire him because I don't like his coaching?
That was Bill Fitch. Yes, Bill Fitch was out. But Bill Fitch was out because I think he had just ran his course. That's what happened with Bill Fitch. Then we can move to 1994, not 1995 or 96 when in Orlando the players had a coup and they ran out Brian Hill. They ran him out 100%. They got him up out of there. I personally think, Tone, and I'm a James guy. James is my guy, but I think that there was a conspiracy with James and the rest of the crew to get what's this coach's name for Cleveland and to get Ty Lue in.
David Blatt.
I think there was a conspiracy to get Blatt up out of there.
And let me ask,
it was in first place.
Basketball, right? Basketball. They were in first place at the time. Who's a better coach, David Blatt or Ty Lue?
I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know because I only seen a little bit of David Blatt. I didn't see much of him. He did get that team to the NBA Finals though. That did happen. He's 100% that did.
Also, in every other place that he's coached, he's been super successful. He's considered
as a European coach. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Now remember too, Tone. Players have to buy into this system.
So I just want to be clear. So in 40 years, you gave me four examples, and the players who did it: Magic, and it worked; Bird, and it worked. I guess was it Shaq?
The whole crew: Shaq, Brian Shaw, all of them dudes.
Shaq was the best player, and LeBron. Sure, Shaq, it didn't work, and LeBron, and it did work. So you gave me four players who were all top 5, top 10 all time, and 3 of the 4 worked. That ain't Ja, and none of them.
He's not.
And none of them were in the last 10 games of the season.
No,
so
they
that's
weren't.
The thing is to give a guy, like in most cases, when players buy into the system is when it works the best. So Ja is going to be. If this continues, you've just given Ja the green light to beat Trae Young. And how has that worked in Atlanta?
And Trae Young also did that too.
I know. And it didn't
Atlanta.
Work.
Yeah, he did that in Atlanta with Nate McMillan. That happened also. There've been other instances where players have gotten coaches fired. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Ron Williams with Jerry Sloan, and that didn't work.
Darren Williams with Jerry Sloan. Don't forget.
In majority of cases, it doesn't work.
It doesn't.
I've never seen it this late in the season.
Kenny Atkinson, when he was in Brooklyn, they ran him out of there. KD.
Yeah, they got rid of him. How'd that work out? They were worse.
It has not worked out. It hasn't.
That's my only concern. But yeah, listen, John, you got to figure out who's Ja's going to be on your team. He's the best player on the team. He needs to have ball in his hand. I get it, but you also have to play winning basketball. So we'll see how that pans out.
Sure.
Do you think it'll work?
I do. And the reason why I think it'll work, the reason why I think it'll work.
Why are you so hungry today?
To be honest with you,
I don't
that's why I
think
was
you've
late.
ever eaten during the show ever.
Well, the reason why is because I was running and I didn't have an opportunity to get back home and get something to eat. I had to like basically get right to it. So I'm snacking right now, but I'm good though.
You were running, like, what do you mean you were running? Like you were?
I had some stuff I had to take care of. But
I'm surprised you didn't get there quicker because I've seen the way you drive.
This is totally unprofessional of me. 100% it isn't. But
no,
anyway.
I've seen you drive. You drive.
You have seen me drive. Yes,
but you I found that out very quickly. That is the worst driving I've seen since I lived in Europe. By the way, Miami to like up to your neighborhood is the worst drivers. And I've driven, like I said, in horrible places. I've been on the autobahn. Like I've been a lot of the worst drivers is right there where you are.
It's a nightmare. 100%. It's a nightmare. If you're trying to get somewhere, good luck.
Mm-hmm. Good luck. Good luck.
100% it is. So
next up.
To answer your question, Tony, I do think it's gonna work.
Okay.
But here's the $1 million question. They have bigger problems. I think it could work. They got bigger problems because so we clear, Tone. Triple J is up for an extension at the end next season, and not just up for an extension, Tone, a supermax because he's going to be an All-Pro this year, and he's going to make the All-League defensive team too. So the supermax for him, we're looking at $300+ million. There are some people who are not happy with Jaren Jackson being eligible to be a $300+ million player. I wouldn't be surprised. I do think that this thing could work, but I'm not sure that they're going to hold on to Ja, Tone. I wouldn't be surprised if he got moved this offseason.
I'd move Jaren Jackson. If you what they got for Rudy Gobert, move him.
That was the next thing that I was about to say, Tone. Because you think about Rudy Gobert, Minnesota in particular, they move off of Cat because that money that they paid him, they're not really feeling it. But the Knicks, Julius Randle is up, and they feel more comfortable paying Cat that money than Julius Randle.
Sure.
So maybe there's somebody that's more comfortable paying Triple J that kind of bread because Memphis isn't.
Oh boy, there's gonna be a lot of money being thrown around. I don't know how I feel about it all, but let's get to how we're doing okay for time. We're doing okay for time. We'll do a little pod therapy. I wish I had some like calming music. All I have is like,
hey, you know what? I've got this water.
Speaking
and
of therapy,
we've got this red version. We got a red bottle, and we got a David Beckham version here. Then we got a blue version.
That's whenever I hear this dude talk, I just get
it's best I could do for therapy.
Whenever I hear him talk, he gets my blood pressure up. It's like, hold on, like I get anxiety when I hear him talk. For real, y'all. I don't know what to do with him. I really don't.
Non-playoff P. Non-playoff P. I like that. Says that podcasting is therapeutic.
Well, Tone, if you think about, I know a lot of people they couldn't care less about a guy.
Well, Paul George, I never could. Even when he was in Indiana, I could never care less.
And I don't just mean Paul George. I just mean a guy that's on the books for $150 million, $175 million, $200 million. There are people who couldn't care less about that, not realizing that the stress that it actually takes to be a professional athlete. And I feel like with Paul George on his podcast, this can be therapeutic because this is an opportunity for me to just talk and get out how I'm feeling about certain things, as opposed to we live in 1992 and I just got to keep all of this stuff bottled up. I got to shut up about everything. And in the process of me shutting up, I just got to go out there and just suck it up and just keep doing what I'm doing. In this instance, I actually have a therapist and it's my podcast. I can go out, but the flip side to that, Tone, is with my therapist, which is my podcast, I'm supposed to get better. Is that correct? Like I'm supposed to. You're
supposed to. Yes, that's the point of therapy. Is
that's the idea? I'm supposed to advance. And with me advancing, right? And with me advancing, I'm going to get better, right? So Paul George, I would think that because he's in a space where he can express himself and he can de-stress in his podcast, I would think that would help his game. Only except it's not helping his game, and that's largely due to him being beat up, right? And I think Philadelphia dropped the ball, paying him the way that they did. But I do think that mental health issues are a problem for players, and we live in a space now where we can talk about it more.
You know what works really good for therapy? Therapy. It doesn't need to be in public. You know why you go to a private location and there's an exit out the back door so that nobody sees you lay on the couch and talk to the therapist? It's because it's private so that you can open up and have these things discussed.
Right.
So the nonsense that it's therapy, no, it's not. It's ego. You want people to hear what you have to say. You want people to think you know what you're talking about.
Right.
And that's why you're doing it. Do you think we do a podcast because we don't want people to hear what we have to say?
No, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing.
This is therapeutic. This is stressful. Coming up with topics every day. Who am I going to piss off? Who am I going to troll today? Like this ain't therapy. It's a bold-faced lie. He wants the platform. He wants the attention. He realized that his game now does not match his fame, and that is. There's a few players like that in multiple leagues where their game doesn't match their fame. And he's one of them. And this is what's going to keep him relevant, because you know what he sees at the end of the tunnel, which is very, very short. Might not even be a tunnel. It's more like an arch. It's about this thick.
It's his future.
His career.
Yeah, this is his future right here.
Yeah.
So
the end of his career is near. He can see it. And he's like, what am I going to do after? Oh, I guess we figured it out what you're going to do after. You want attention. That's okay. I get it. Because who's paying attention to the Sixers right now?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody's really paying attention. Well, unless you're a diehard Philly fan, nobody's really paying attention to him. But Tone, is it ridiculous for me to think that a guy like Paul George, dealing with the stuff that they're dealing with? I can appreciate your logic about, wanting attention, but the attention that I'm looking for, can I get that attention in a way that's necessary for me? Like, it's not like I'm looking for a whole bunch of other people to just love me. No, maybe I'm.
Yes.
Well, wait a minute though, Tone. Maybe I'm just looking for people to just listen. How about that? And understand what I'm going through, as opposed to shower me with hugs and kisses and you rub my back and tell me that everything's going to be okay. Which in some instances you do need that, but in this particular situation, maybe Paul George, with this podcast, this is his therapy, just to be heard and to let people know that I just got stuff that I need to get out, and this is the best way to do it. Maybe not in an office with a doctor, maybe not in an office with a doctor, but sitting across from my guys and us just chopping it up. And this helps me vent for what's going on, because maybe they can see what I got going on, and not only can they see what I got going on, you can see what I got going on too. Mic is off, Tone. Can't hear you.
Anything is possible. I muted myself so you didn't have to hear me sneeze, and then I forgot to unmute myself to say, yeah, is that possible? Sure, because anything is possible. I ain't buying it, and I ain't buying that he's doing it for therapy. I'm not buying it. I'm not. The next one is a bit of a.
Before we get to this, Tone, can we really address this really quickly? This right here.
I asked ChatGPT what would happen if Magic Johnson in 1984 time traveled to 2008 and joins the Orlando Magic. ChatGPT predicted Orlando wins the championship.
1984 Magic Johnson on that 2008 Orlando Magic team, that 2008, 2019 that went to the NBA Finals, because the way Magic plays with Dwight Howard and with Hito Turkoglu.
Which Orlando team did he join? Did it say in that?
2008. Yeah, 2008 with Rashard Lewis.
All right.
So take Jameer Nelson off that crew and put Magic on that crew. I'm 100%.
Jameer Nelson was hurt. He was hurt after the All-Star break.
Yeah,
anyway.
he wasn't playing. So,
so hold on. Let me ask ChatGPT, because I have the pro version. Tell me what would happen if Magic Johnson from 1984 time traveled and joined the 2008 Orlando Magic. How would that team do in the NBA? If Magic Johnson time traveled to join the Orlando Magic, that team would become an instant championship contender, if not the outright favorite. Here's how things would play out. Peak playmaker, play vision. Magic Johnson was the MVP level player, averaging 17. Enhancing Dwight Howard, to your point, was a dominant force. He would maximize his shooters like Rashard Lewis and Hito Turkoglu. How would the Magic perform regular season? The prediction is 52-30. Magic Johnson running the show. Oh, that's what they were. With Magic Johnson, they could easily win 60-plus games. First round, they originally defeated the Raptors 4-1. That would be an easy sweep. Wow. Second round.
Who they beat in the first round?
The Raptors.
Okay. Goodbye.
So they in the second round of this year of 08. So I think we might be thinking 08, 09 versus 08. But anyways, this is the 08 season. So they actually lost the 08 Pistons 4-1. With Magic, Orlando would have a far better shot to defeat Detroit. Conference finals, the Celtics, the 66 and 16 were the roadblock. Prime Magic would challenge their elite defense. NBA finals, if they got past, so it doesn't say outright, if they got past the Celtics, they'd face Kobe. Magic versus Kobe storyline would be legendary. Yeah, that actually would be. My two favorite players facing off. I couldn't cheer for any, or I'd have to cheer for both. However, it could be a tough series, likely 6 or 7 games. Final verdict with Magic Johnson in 08, the Orlando Magic would be a championship level team. So I don't know. Maybe I worded it wrong. Correct me.
I don't know if I'm buying the whole 60 games. They would easily win 60 games because every team that wins 60 games wins the NBA championship. That always happens, right? So I'm not going to do that. No. I'm good on that.
Well, it's the pro version gets a little bit more in depth. Eli, like it wouldn't say anything ridiculous like Jameer Nelson clears Magic,
right?
Unless you're talking about like a magician, like I don't know, David Copperfield. Yeah, he's probably a better basketball player than him, but even that would be questionable. All right, next up. Do you remember what was that guy's name? David Blaine.
Yes, the magician.
Did I ever tell you about his brother?
No, you didn't.
I met his brother when I was in university. David Blaine's real brother. And everyone's like, dude, that must be amazing, it must be amazing or annoying, right? Being related, growing up with David Blaine. And everyone asked, well, do you do magic as well? And he said, well, I know a couple of tricks. So he did this trick. And I got to tell you, it freaked the hell out of me. So I'm gonna reenact it for you a little bit. Okay. Because back in those days we had cigarettes, not vapor. Right?
Right.
And so he takes a cigarette and says, okay, put out your hand. And he ashes in your hand.
Yep.
Right? And he says, okay, now close your fist as hard as you can, right?
Right.
And so now your fist is closed with ashes in it. He says, does it burn? Can you feel it burning? He says, no. You're just holding the ash. And he tells another person, okay, come here. Now you squeeze your hand as tight as you can. Now open up the hand. He goes, here. And he starts rubbing the ash into the palm of the hand. He says, to the other person now who has nothing in their hand and their hand is closed. And he's putting the ash in. Do you feel it burning your skin? Do you feel it burning your skin? The person's like, no, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. He goes, are you sure? Right. Yeah. He goes, are you sure you don't feel that ash in your hand? And the guy goes, no, what ash in my hand? He goes, open your hand. Guy opens
his ash in his hand. Unbelievable.
Like there's a bird, like the black bird, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out, bro.
Yeah, I'm good. No, I don't want to. Magicians, with the exception of the magician that was in Los Angeles, magicians freak me out, Tone. Yes, they do.
Who's the magician that was in Los Angeles?
There was a magician in Los Angeles. He played for the Lakers. He was really good. Yes.
That yes, that magician was. I liked him. I liked him a lot. How do you feel about Luka?
It seems to be progressing. Let me put it that way, Tone. I think he's 31-8. Since 31-8-6, something like that. Since he's gotten on the Lakers roster, they have been winning, so that's good. This is going to take some time to figure out, and I'm not sure if they got enough time this year. But I told you this. I told you this when they traded for him. I said that this was a 36-month. This was not 36 months. This was a year and a half this was a 1.5-year process, and if this doesn't work within the next 1.5 years, then there's no way that this is going to happen. Nope. Then we got to move on from him.
Really? Move on from him?
Not move on from Luka. I'm talking about the 1.5 years between him and James. Like, because I think James is. I don't think James plays 2 more years. I don't. I'd be surprised if he played 2 more years. There's a lot that goes into when you get to this age.
How many times I've already told you? I have the script. I know what's going to happen. He's going to play next year, the year after, so that he can play with Bryce, and he can be the only player. Like, no one is ever going to catch the amount of points that he's going to have. Does he have a shot? I don't know how far away he is, but let me ask: does he have a shot at the all-time assist number? No,
he doesn't.
Does he have a shot at second?
No.
No, not even a shot at second.
No. If Chris Paul is still playing, and he's second all time, and Chris Paul is at like 10,000, something like that. I don't think James is there.
Well, was Chris Paul announcing his retirement? Was that an April Fool's Day joke, or was that real?
I didn't even know he did that, Tone. Did he announce that he's retiring? That's interesting.
I saw that, but I saw it today. So I trust nothing that I saw today.
Maybe he is retiring, though. I wouldn't be surprised if he is. Yeah, I would not be surprised if he is retiring. That would not surprise me at all.
LeBron is just under 1,000 assists away from Chris Paul. Mm-hmm. So let's assume they finish the season and Paul retires. So that would be, say, divided by 2, 500 for the season, divided by, what does he play now? 65 games?
Yes, that's the minimum to make the All-Pro team.
So he would have to average 7.7 assists for the next 2 seasons. That's not crazy.
I don't think. Well,
that's not crazy.
Tone, LeBron James at 42 years old, averaging 7 assists.
He's LeBron James. You think he's the GOAT? Why is that crazy?
Because he's 42 years old, man. 42. And this is the problem with James. James has screwed it up for everybody.
So here's what I think. Let me add to my storyline.
Sure.
So he plays next year and the year after to be the number 2. Because imagine if he finishes first in points, second in assists all time, the only player to play with 2 of his sons in the NBA. That's when he retires. That's when he can that's when he can take the crown off and put the GOAT horns on, or whatever you want to put in. Because if he retires first and second, especially if he gets my Lakers another chip, even as the third fiddle, I don't care that he's the third fiddle, probably. And then he walks his way over to Las Vegas and becomes the minority owner of that team and the face of that franchise. That's what I think. They'll call them the Las Vegas Bronze. The Las Vegas.
I don't know if I hate that.
Las Vegas Chosen Ones.
The Las Vegas Bronze. I don't know if I hate that. That's how the Cleveland Browns got their name, by Paul Brown. So why not the Bronze? I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all, Tom.
Yeah, but you know what happened to Paul Brown? They shipped him off, and he had to start the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes, they did.
Apparently, Steph is going nuts.
And wait. Stop right here. Did we not see Steph go for 60 earlier this season? What's new? I'm sick of you dudes coming over here talking to me about Steph Curry's doing this, or are you watching this, or are you watching that? How many times have I seen Steph Curry go for 60? How many times have I seen Steph Curry crack 15 threes in the game? How many times have I seen Steph Curry go off? This is nothing new. He's been in the league for 15 years, guys. This isn't nothing new.
So let me ask you this. He's 11 of 16.
A break.
8 for 10 from 3, according to my calculation. So 10 threes in the first half. No, he took 10 threes. He didn't make 10 threes. He's 8 for 10. Also has, I think this is the part that impresses me more. He's got 7 rebounds. If he goes for 15 rebounds, I'd be more impressed than a 50 piece.
So he's got 7 rebounds. So he couldn't rebound, even though he averaged 10 rebounds in the NBA Finals in 2017. That's never happened before.
So
Steph Curry.
He's got 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 32 points. Are we seeing him go? Are we seeing him? It's halftime, so there's no point in going to check out anything, Tim. And you can watch both.
He's 8 for 10 at the long ball line, right? Because the greatest shooter of all times could never do anything like that. Like, this is headline news when the greatest shooter of all time is doing this. Give me a break, man.
Let's play over under. Let's play over under, and I will put my money on the line. If we can get, I don't know how many likes we have on YouTube. If we can get, here's what I'm going to do. If you put in a $1 super chat and give me your over under of Steph Curry getting 50 points. If you put in $0, you're going to win. I'll put $100 into the pot. If you put in $1 super chat and say how many, I'll put $200 in the pot. And whoever gets it right, 50 over under. All you got to say is 50 over under. And then all the right answers I'll put into a pot and pick a winner.
Who are the Warriors playing tonight, Tom?
The Memphis Grizzlies.
Interesting. Well, here's the thing, Tom.
Hold on. That his 30 piece in a quarter is unbeatable record. One good quarter. You call him what do they call him? Game 6 Clay? You know that's a myth, right?
Give me a break. Tone, listen.
All right, so here we go.
I just have such a difficult time with this whole, Steph's going crazy like we've never seen it. It's not that I don't want to praise him, but it's always whenever he does something like this, it's headline news. He just had 60 like 2 months ago. He just did that. Literally just did that in Orlando. Oh, he didn't go for 60. He went for 50, 54, 55, something like that. I know he was close to 60 that he went for. So give me a break, man. It's not like I ain't never seen Steph Curry hit a bunch of threes in the game. That's not like I've never seen that before. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not like I've never seen that before.
Let me tell him so he can go to bed. I know Steph's got 32 at the half.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
Of course he knows. He's probably in front of the TV watching. I'm surprised he ain't coming and tell you.
It's just like I know I'm watching it.
Yes, of course. I'm surprised he ain't coming and tell you.
Steph's his guy.
Give me a break, man. My issue is that we have like stuff that we got going on. It's like me coming to your show, Tone, and telling you, yo, Chill got a show going on right now, and he going crazy. Give me a break, man.
Fair enough. But I don't know that. We are in discussions. You can come say goodnight. No, you don't want to say goodnight?
Not looking like this, I can't.
Your hair. Not looking like this. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yeah. My niece look wild as hell right now, so she can't be on camera. Nah, she can't do it. And no, I don't know that Steph's 60 is different than any other players. No, I don't know that. No, I don't.
Why is his 60 different than others? I don't. Right. He's right. Just like Jerry West.
Not.
He has the advantage.
It's not.
The 3-ball.
Steph 60 is no different than James going for 60, or when Carmelo Anthony went for 60, or when Jordan went for 60. Give me a break, man. Give me a break.
You made me forget what I was going to say.
Sorry.
Or what? It's probably not you. It's probably a little.
I know what we didn't forget, though. I know what we didn't forget. The headlines. We still were on that. Yes,
well, let's take a break for a second on headlines and do it. We got a couple of super chats. Sir Darko the Third. What's good, y'all? Me and my dad were talking about this earlier, so I want to get your guys' input. Are Naismith and Nembhard all league defenders?
Nembhard may be. Yes, Nembhard may very well be an all-league defender. I'm not sure that he's got enough games, and if he does, I think he just hits the 65. He just hits the 65 game mark, but I think he could be an all-league defender. 100%, I believe that. I love Naismith as a defender, to be quite honest with you. He's one of the toughest, hard-nosed defenders in the league. He picks up full court. He's really good at keeping guys in front of him. At 6'4", 6'5", he's really physical. I think that you can make an argument that Naismith could be. But I think this season, with the guys that we have currently that could be all-league defenders, so Mobley, Draymond, Dyson Daniels, Lou Dort, SGA, let's see, Kamara in Portland. I feel like there's a bunch of other guys that J-Dub. I think J-Dub's going to be an all-league defender in Oklahoma City also. there's plenty of guys that are all league caliber defenders that
with no positions, he would just have to finish in the top 15 of votes. Now,
which is why, by the way, Tone, I think that we do need to add a third team to the all league defensive team. I do think that.
Oh, is it only? I'm sorry. So 10
Yes.
spots. 10 spots.
Only 2.
I was actually thinking there. I was already adding your third team for you.
Mm-hmm.
So Nemhart, to your point that you said before, let me go back. Is that 59 games?
Yep.
So can he get to what is it, 65?
7 games.
60. So he needs six games.
Yeah.
To qualify. Naismith has only played 39, so he's out.
No. Mm-hmm.
So Naismith. Now, if you're asking, could he be a all defensive level caliber player?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're both all league level defenders. But if you're asking, will they make it this year? Well, only one is even possibly going to qualify. They have to check and see how many games. What do they have left? 8 games?
I think 8, yes.
8.
Because the play-in tournament starts 2 weeks from today, Tone.
So if the Pacers have 8 games left, he has to pretty much play all but 1 or 2 of them. So it's gonna be tight.
Mm-hmm.
So let me close that out.
Mm-hmm.
Get back to Darko threw in his hat in the ring here as well. Darko's gonna win because he's the only one who put in $2 over 50.
We'll take it.
Darko's gonna win. I don't know. We'll see at the end. He still has to go for over 50. All right. There was one other one. Maybe not a super chat, but Eli says, Fluent, if you hit 10 threes, that's 30, and you need 8 more points to beat Clay's record. Yeah, but I'll shoot 13 and make 13, and that's 39, and then I'm better. That's because that's the one thing I can do.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about LeBron defense? I think he's an excellent defender. Oh, we're not. Where did I go? I went to the wrong place. We're back at headline.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are. Mm-hmm.
I'm just reading chats out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's the next? I've lost track.
I love this. I do love this because I love this.
In college. Are you an April's Day fool?
That's what I was thinking, Tone. I think that this might have been an April Fool's joke, to be quite honest with you, because I'm not sure.
Into Flagg saying
that's why when I sent it to you like reluctantly, like, is this true? I'm not sure. This stay-in, I thought we were going to talk about Kevin Durant. I wasn't sure.
We are in a minute. We are.
Yeah.
I wanted Flagg first because I could throw out my Cooper Flagg. Excuse me. Spears.
Mm-hmm.
Spears.
Yeah.
So I did hear prior to April Fool's him saying something to the extent of he'd consider going back because he's really enjoying his time.
Mm-hmm. And
then people added in for him, which he did not say, like, have you seen the teams that are likely to get the first overall pick? I don't want to play for them. So that's a little BS. So I think him announcing officially, no matter what happens in the NCAA tournament, I'm going back to Duke. I don't believe that to be true. However, he doesn't have to make up his mind. And I think he can allow the draft lottery to occur, correct? Mm-hmm. Before he can make up his mind.
Yep.
And I've already said to you, what did I tell you before the trade deadline? What point guard from Sacramento was getting traded to the Spurs?
You did tell me that De'Aaron Fox was getting moved. You said that.
And who got sent to the Spurs?
De'Aaron Fox got moved. Yes, he did. Mm-hmm.
I told you that Chris Paul would be their coach next year. Well, he's taking the first step in that by, I'm assuming, announcing that he's going to retire at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Popovich, we already know.
I don't think he's coming back. I don't.
God bless, and I hope that he is healthy and happy. And I think he's going to come back, but not as a coach. He'll be in the head office somewhere. I think he's there until he doesn't want to be there anymore.
Sure.
And so I got a team of, I got my 1 in Fox. I got my 2. I told you this offseason, I'm telling you, Castle's he's going to come back a 39% three-point shooter, 40% three-point shooter. That's where he's going to be. So he's going to be their starting 2 because he's 6'6". He's all of 6'6", and he can jump out the gym. Like,
yes, he is too, Tone.
Great 2 next to De'Aaron Fox. I'm thinking I want Wemby to play my 4 because I don't want him going up against the big, stronger centers that occasionally come around. So I'm going to have to pick up a center. And then I win the NBA draft and I draft Cooper Flagg to be my 3. And I got a new Spurs dynasty.
And can we compound that, Tone? How about we compound that with the Atlanta Hawks don't make the playoffs, so you get their pick too, and the Atlanta Hawks end up with the number, I don't know, 5 pick in the draft, and you get their pick too. So you get the number 1 pick and you get the number 5 pick in the draft.
Maybe they could get that big. Always forget his name, but he's 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan who plays on Duke with Flagg. So
yeah, the South Sudanian kid. Yes, sir.
Yeah. There you go. There's your fight next to Wemby. Good luck scoring in the paint.
Oh, boy. Oh,
they're going to spread their arms out and take up the entire baseline. I could see this working.
Well, if I do understand that the money is enticing, Tone, because we live in a different age where Allen Iverson left school early because he had to.
Right.
I need the bread. Right. A lot of these guys, they leave in school early because they are in dire straits.
For sure.
Cooper Flagg's not in a position. And again, I don't even know if this is true. I don't. And if this is a hypothetical, I would not be surprised considering what the NIL money is looking like for Cooper Flagg.
I think this is the perfect time to reinstitute. You have to play in the NBA, you need at minimum a 2-year associate's degree. In some financial
literacy, sure.
Literacy. I think that should be the minimum. You could do a 3-year, you could do a 4-year, you could do something else. You can get a bachelor's. I don't care. But at minimum, you have to have a 2-year associate's degree in financial literacy. And because I'm about to make you a millionaire, even if you get drafted, you're going to be a millionaire. And I don't want to see any more of them going broke. I don't.
So essentially, what I'm doing is I'm looking out for you. Yes.
Yeah. It's in your.
I'm 100% looking out for you. You might not think I'm looking out for you, but I am looking out for you.
I can see the guys, who take bad long-term deals, who come out of school early because they need money, who come straight out of high school, et cetera, et cetera. I totally understand that. But in this new age of an environment, you don't have to do that. You can get paid. There's people. You don't have to look far. Look to the WNBA, where they were making more money in NIL than they're making in WNBA money.
Sure. Angel Reese said that.
Yeah,
she said that her WNBA contract couldn't pay her rent.
Right, and and the other thing is that also helps. I keep going back to this. This also helps the schools, because if you get guys playing 2-3 years, the teams become better. They build up rivalries. There's interest. Right. That's why the college game for women is more entertaining, is more watched now than the men, is because you have these rivalries, you have these people building a team. And so I think it helps everybody. But that being said, Cooper Flagg to the Spurs. There you go.
Well, if you think about what's going on in the landscape of the NBA, Tone, I don't want to play for Charlotte. I'm actually good at Duke and I'm making some pretty good money. I can wait another year. I'm barring any injuries or anything like that. I don't think that I'm going to be less sought after if I wait one more year. It's not like I'm staying here for 4 years, because I already know how you guys feel about, younger guys. It's a lot less difficult. I mean, it's a lot more difficult to hone a 22 or 23-year-old than it is a 19-year-old. Okay, well, it's not that much difference between a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old, right? So when I come into the league at 20 years old, I can stick around for one more year. And if I don't want to play for Charlotte, we've seen this with players in the NFL. We've seen this with Bo Jackson. I'm not playing in Tampa. No, I'm not going to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, yeah, John Elway. I am not going to play. I'm not putting on an Indianapolis Colts uniform. I'm not doing that.
Eli Manning.
I'm not going to play in San Diego. I'm not. No, I will not put on the San Diego Chargers uniform. No, I'm not doing that. So, but even if this, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure that this is true. But if it is, I do understand the logic of it. I don't have to go straight to the NBA right now. I don't.
Right.
I am making enough money where, my family is okay. Like, we're doing good. And that NBA money is going to be there. Barring any, I did roll my ankle, but that could happen anywhere. That could happen in the NBA. Yeah. That could happen anywhere. But, well, if you play in the NBA, at least you got the money. Well, I got money now. Plus, I got insurance too. So if something happens to me, I do have insurance on me too. So.
And Jerome, I have no idea what you're talking about. Just for the record, no one has any idea what you're talking about in terms of no one's telling anybody how to spend their money. Troll Boy, though, I do want to address. Mark Jackson said he knows the only living guy who was there and said he absolutely scored 100 points. Argue with Mark Jackson. Absolutely. You tell Mark Jackson to call me up or come on the show and I will argue with him, because I will reiterate, go to a game. Do not look at the scoreboard. Watch the game only, not thinking about, I'm going to watch to see how much a player is going to score, and tell me you know how many points a player scored. You're not tracking it. You're just watching the game. Because how many times have you watched a game and went, oh, damn, he scored 30? That's the quietest 30 I've ever seen. I've told you the story that wasn't that long ago, 2 months ago, when I was in Detroit watching Ant. And we were like, he dropped 50? I promise you, no one at that game realized he dropped 50 because they were getting blown out and they lost. Nobody realized that he dropped 50. 35, 40, I probably, no clue. I think he had 50 or 52 that night. No one had any clue that that's what he did. So just because he was there, that just, again, that proves the point that being there doesn't mean you know how many points they scored. And Tim Jones, why would they fake Wilt's 100? Well, that's easy because it was the PR guy of the Warriors keeping score, and they needed news. Like, don't forget, the NBA was a league on the verge of bankruptcy every single year until after Bird and Magic got there. On the verge of bankruptcy. The Chicago Bulls in 1983, prior to drafting Michael Jordan, the indoor soccer team in Chicago had more fans in the stands at Chicago Stadium than the Bulls did. Okay, you think it's the NBA like today where everybody loves it and there's billions of dollars flowing?
Nobody cared, yo. Nobody.
As the kids in Toronto say, nah, fam.
In the words of the great Cedric Maxwell, we were flying commercial. We couldn't get a direct flight after we won the championship in Houston. We couldn't get a direct flight back to Boston. We had to sit in Atlanta, connect with the NBA trophy. And I imagine today, 2025.
In 62, they weren't flying. They were taking the bus. It was a bus. And it wasn't a good bus. Like, I mean, I bet you they were taking some Greyhounds with other regular people.
Imagine today, Tone, that you are in the Toronto airport and I don't know, the Detroit Pistons, not the Pistons, I'm sorry. The Lakers are in the airport with the trophy in their hand because they got to connect through Toronto to get home.
I would love that. Why? Thank you for picking the Lakers. I would love that. I'd get arrested because I'd be like, give me that.
That's what's going on. That's what was going on. They're in the Houston airport in 1981 with the trophy right here. Like, all right, we heading back to Boston with the NBA championship. So
there was no money. There's no money.
No.
So because if you look, every single newspaper across the country, the sports page title was Wilt's 100, Miracle 100, the picture of him in the like it made news. I still can't believe you didn't win the MVP that year. Maybe that was the trade-off. We'll give you a 100-point game, but you can't win the MVP.
That was one of the best seasons in NBA history. Like he finished second in the league MVP votes. No,
it was excluding because MVP doesn't include playoffs and winning a championship.
Right, it's just the regular season.
That was the best regular season in NBA history.
It may be. Now that I think about it, Tone, I mean, Elgin Baylor came in fourth.
50 and 25. He averaged
50 and 26. 50 and 26.
And he averaged 48.5 minutes a game. Like
he would have played every minute of every game, only except the one game he didn't play. He got thrown out for fighting. And still averaged more minutes than there were. Right? So he played every minute. He played every minute and then some, like every overtime too. Like I think it's that's why I don't believe it. All right. Speaking of staying, I love the reason why I love this conversation.
You wanted this one because I thought there was no chance in hell he was staying in Phoenix.
Here's the thing that you've said this to me. First of all, you said this to me earlier in the season, and maybe this has now resonated through the rest of the NBA. Tone, you told me, chill. Jay, I'm not helping Phoenix. I'm not. Not helping them. I'm not. This is a you problem. You've gotten yourself into this. Get yourself out. Maybe the other teams have seen the effect of Kevin Durant, like what happens, what I got to give up, what ends up happening when he gets on my crew. And now that he's gotten older and more injury prone, this is what it's going to look like. And for Kevin Durant to now play for somebody else, Houston, for example, because when I think about who could be possible for him, well, number one, Tone, I need my picks back. That's what I need more than anything. But before we can talk about contracts and matching up the money, I need my draft picks back because I don't have any. So how am I going to build my team? I don't have any draft picks for like the next 5 years, especially first round draft picks. I don't have any. So how am I going to build my team? I'm not just going to build my team through free agency because ain't nobody coming here. We garbage.
Now, do they want him gone or does he want out?
I think that we're at.
That's important to me.
I think that he needs some clarity on what's going on, and I think that this is a dire situation where he's probably looking at this tone like, maybe this ain't for me.
Does he have a no trade clause?
He does not. There's only 2 guys in the league that have no trade clauses. That's James and Bradley Beal. That's it.
His teammate, oddly enough, which I think is hilarious.
That's it.
But we know
Those
why.
are the only 2 guys.
So what I'm doing is, right, like I'm not, you're right. If I'm an NBA team, I am not helping Phoenix at all. I'm saying F you, good luck. However, there's 2 exceptions. The problem is, do you want anything from them? But if I could get everything, and I mean everything that I want from one of these 2 teams, that's the only 2 places I'm sending him because I want to stick it to him. Washington, Charlotte.
So the 2 worst teams in the league.
100%. You give me all your ones for the next, I don't know, decade, maybe half, maybe half. Give me 3 or 4 ones. Give me whoever you think is worth it from their team, right? That's under 25, and that's how I'm building my new team. Because I still got to get out of Beal. I still got to get out of Booker, right? To really do a proper rebuild. But that's the first one to fall, and I'm not helping him. I'm not sending him to Golden. I'm not sending him to Golden State. I'm not sending him to LA. I'm not.
Like Houston's got a bunch of draft picks and a bunch of young guys. I don't think that, to be honest with you, Tone, I don't think that the wound is healed in Oklahoma City. And like I've heard people say Oklahoma City. I'm like, I don't think the wound is healed in Oklahoma City. Even though that was 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, I still don't think the wound is healed. I don't think that they over that. And
it's a different GM now, right?
Yes, it's not Sam Presti.
Team owner? I know Presti's gone, but I don't know the ownership situation in OKC. If it's
I think they still got the same owner in Oklahoma City.
If it's the same owner, then probably not.
No, but here's the thing.
Sorry, let me just say, EJ, I know he's not worth all that. That's my point. Is unless I'm getting a ridiculous ransom, I'm gonna let him. Jerome, I'll get back to you in a minute. Sorry, go ahead.
Kind of like what Greg Popovich did when Kawhi Leonard asked out. The price just went through the roof.
Yeah,
and not only did the price go through the roof, not for everybody, but for the Lakers, I'm overpricing. I'm overpricing for you specifically. So, however much Leonard is going for, if he going for 60 cents on the dollar, for the Lakers, he going for 90.
Oh, 90, 190. 190. Because don't think that Kawhi didn't say, at that point I want to go home. I want to go back to LA. 100% he told him that. And they were like, "Oh, you want to go to LA? Here's a trade to Toronto." Like the furthest place I can get you from LA, the coldest place other than maybe Minnesota that I can get you from LA. That's what they did, because if you think about it, they could have got, no disrespect, but they could have got better than Jakob Poeltl and DeMar DeRozan. They could have gotten better than that. But to your point,
well, Leonard, 100%.
Yeah, that's 60 cents on the dollar versus $1.90.
Yes, Lakers. Yes, yeah. I'm double charging you.
Yeah,
this is the question that I have for you, though, Tone. Okay, because you've already made it clear that I'm not helping Oklahoma. I'm not helping Phoenix, right?
No.
So, okay, what choice do we have now then? So the choice that we have is we move him to somewhere that he doesn't want to go. He forced his way here, by the way. We move him somewhere that he doesn't want to go, or we figure this thing out with him, Bradley Beal, and Booker. We shore up the 5 spot. We got to figure out our point guard spot, because I was wrong on Tyus Jones. I 100% was wrong on Tyus Jones.
I really thought he could run a team.
I did.
Like where he was the 5th best player on the starting 5, but he could run the team because of what I saw him do off the bench.
Yep.
With the Grizzlies, I really thought, but okay, we were wrong. Okay.
100%.
Yeah, we were wrong.
So they have to show up that 5 spot because they get nothing from the 5 spot. So that means that I can't go in the draft because I don't have any draft picks. So what do I have to give? What do I have to give to get me a draft pick. Do I ask? And I know this may sound ridiculous, home, because again, I'm stuck with KD. I think I'm stuck with him because ain't nobody helping me. I think I'm stuck with KD, Bradley Beal, and Book. I think I'm stuck with these guys. So could I get a first-round pick for Ryan Dunn? I probably could. And I need to get a 5-man. I don't want to give up on this kid, but I need my draft picks, Tone. I need them. I don't have any. And I need some capital. And KD, for all intents purposes, Houston's not giving me 3 1s. Oklahoma City got 15. No. Oklahoma City's got 15 first-round picks. They ain't giving me 3 or 4 1s for KD. They're not doing that. Brooklyn's got all their draft picks back. They don't have any interest in KD. 0 whatsoever. I need my draft picks back. So who do I have to dangle for these draft picks? That means that I got to get a third team involved, Tone. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. I got to get a third team involved if I'm going to move off of KD. Because I need my draft picks back. And by the way, if I'm moving off of KD, I'm moving off a Book too. I have to start this whole thing over.
Yeah.
I have to. This thing can't just stay the way it is, and I'm going to continue to build around Devin Booker. He's the only one left from that team that went to the finals in 21. Everybody else is gone. Nobody else is here from that crew except him. And this Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal experiment has been nothing short of a disaster. What did the owner of the Cleveland Browns say about Deshaun Foster? It was a big swing and miss. That's what this was. Yeah. That's exactly what this was. We swung big and we missed. Not even close. We screwed up. So how do we fix this? We got to start over. And how do I start over? I need my draft picks back.
And you're, like I said, you're not going to get them unless you move off these guys. And I don't know who's taking Beal in that contract at this point. No one. Who's taking 100-year-old KD, who's proven he's not even him. Like it's not like he's playing bad. He's playing well, and they're just not winning games. So he's not in it. So,
and to your point, Tone.
So who's taking him? Nobody. Booker might be the only one that maybe has some value.
Yes, he does.
And and so that's, you're going to hang your hat on what you can get off Book?
Yes, I'm calling up the Detroit Pistons, and I'll take 3 of your ones, and I'll take that kid Ivy for Devin Booker, even though he's on a rook deal. I'm probably going to need some more. I'm probably going to need some more from you in order to make the money work. But yes, I'll take 3 1s. I'll take that kid Ivy. You want to get a third team involved in this to make the money work? Then let's do that. But I need my draft picks back. That's what I need more than anything. I need my draft picks back. That's where I'm at with it. More than anything.
It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one.
Yes, it is.
So if you had to bet, where is KD playing next year?
In Houston. I think Houston's gonna be.
Oh, you still think that happens?
I think that they're gonna pull the trigger. I think that they're still blinded by what KD was, and that this could be a last hurrah. Again, Tone, this KD will be 37 on opening night. So this isn't a KD that, we're building something here over the next 2 or 3 years. No, this is something that has to work today. Right? So this is basically this is a calendar year deal. And they're pushing all of their chips to the front of the table, depending on what they do. Depending on what they do in the playoffs, they're going to push all their chips to the front of the table and go hard after KD. Now, I am going to say this, Tony, and I think you're going to disagree with me. If OKC gets bounced early, I think they pick the phone up. If they get bounced in round 1 or they get bounced in round 2, I think they pick the phone up and they check Phoenix's temperature. And if it's something reasonable for KD, I think that they entertain it. I'm still of the belief that wound is still. I think that wound is still fresh. I don't think it's healed. But if they get bounced early, like SGA wins the league MVP, and they end up getting bounced in round 1 or in the semifinals, I could see them. Hey, what? How does Houston? I mean, how does Phoenix feel about a couple of 1s? And I don't know who's off limits in Oklahoma City when it comes to KD. So I think SGA is off limits.
SGA is off limits.
I think Chet is off limits.
Yeah.
And I think J-Dub is off limits.
Yeah.
I think those 3 guys, whatever else you want, we can have a conversation about it. But whatever else you want, yes. We can talk
But
about it.
I think at minimum they'd want, if they're giving up 3 1s, they're gonna want Chet. That's the problem. And then you got to decide: do I think Chet's gonna be that guy, and stay healthy, or do I bring in KD and say I'm gonna bring him in for what, 2 years, hopefully to make a run at a chip or 2? Because let's be honest, he's got a year or 2 max, if that.
If I'm Phoenix, I want draft picks and I want one of them kids. I know you ain't giving me SGA, but we can we're gonna have to have a conversation about Chet or J Dub. We have to.
So
we have to have a conversation.
They're gonna have a tough decision about long term versus short term.
Yes, we're gonna have to have a conversation about either of those two.
Let's be honest. When you've got that window to win a championship, it can close super fast if you
quick.
Don't. Right,
like Memphis. Memphis is a prime example of that.
Ask KD. They thought we good. Harden, KD, Russ, we good. Ibaka, boom. It closed just like that. So
what about in Brooklyn? Same thing in Brooklyn, Tone.
I don't think
that window was open, it was closed.
I don't even think that even opened, but yeah. That's the story for another day. That one had a lock on it. Did I tell you about the hotel that I was staying in the night that we recorded?
The hotel that you.
Did I tell you what happened?
I was at the hotel the night. I was at the hotel that you were staying in. What happened?
No, not in Miami. The last Tuesday.
No.
Remember, I was in a hotel. Remember,
I do remember that, and it was a cruise ship that was.
Oh, you're thinking about.
I'm thinking about something. So a couple of weeks.
Last week, where it was a surprise that I was away to you, and I said, and I was at a hotel room, and I had. You remember, I didn't have a plug, and I had to move, and I had to use the fake.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yes. Okay, I'm with you now.
So it turns out that my windows, I had to go to a very small town where there's not a lot of options. And they put me up in this hotel that I had to leave. I had to go to a different hotel.
You couldn't stay there, Tom? What happened?
The windows, there's only 2 floors, so I was on the second floor, but some dudes had backed up their truck, and they were on the top of their truck opening windows and breaking into rooms.
Oh, hell no.
No lock on the window.
Hell no.
So I got the hanger, the hangers that have the clips for your pants?
Yep.
I put them along the windowsill to keep the window from opening. I was like, forget this, I'm leaving.
No, I ain't staying here. Hell no.
Never let anyone book a hotel for you ever again.
Ever again.
All right, let's get back to
what the hell.
Not like us. They not like us.
Soon as I get back to the job, I'm letting HR know. Just so y'all know, this is what y'all have me staying.
Not like us.
All right. Speaking of OKC, we got OKC versus OKC.
Oh, I love this.
OKC versus OKC.
I love this.
So the 2016 Thunder. Steven Adams was on. How old is Steven Adams?
I think he was in 2016. I mean, that was only 10 years ago, Tone. It's not like it was like 15 years ago.
All right, so we got Steven Adams, Serge Ibaka, KD, Russ. I'm missing. Who's
Andre Robertson? That's Andre Robertson.
Oh, Andre. Okay, and then you got the 2025 Thunder. So obviously Chet, SGA. We just talked about all these guys. 7-game series, I believe. Is that what you sent me? Let me double check what you sent me because I want to make sure.
I'm not when I look at these teams, Tone, I'm not sure that this is a 7-game series, and the reason why.
No, I'm not saying it goes 7. I'm saying that's what we're asking is who wins. They played a 7-game
in a 7-game series, and here's my reasoning, Tone. And I want you to hear me out on this because I know you're about to jump down. I know you're about to jump on me on this. Tone, we live in a different space today. Like, gone are the days of the specialists. There are no more days where a guy can just be an offensive, not an offensive, just a rebounder and a defender. Those days are over. You have to be able to put pressure on the offense. And that's not just by rebounding. You have to be able to score. The days of Dennis Rodman, Dennis could actually score, but he was relegated to a dirty work guy because we didn't have that kind of game during that time. We had that kind of game today where you have to put pressure on the defense. The guy that I always bring up John Stockton. And the reason why I bring up John Stockton, because at the lead guard spot in today's game, you have to be able to score. Stock could score, but he couldn't just relegate himself to being a distributor. He can't do that.
Yeah, he'd be asked to shoot more.
Yes, not in today's game. Now, if I look at this Oklahoma City team, Tone, every last one of these guys, SGA, Lou Dort, Chet, J-Dub, Hartenstein, all of these guys put pressure on the defense offensively with something that they can do. I can't say that about these other guys. Andre Roberson gets played off the floor.
Yeah, he seems to be the weak link when I'm looking at these, because Ibaka could rebound, defend, and he could score in his ways.
100%. He can knock down a mid-range shot. Yes, he had a Horace Grant kind of vibe to him. Sure,
I do believe Chet and Hartenstein would have trouble with Adams and Ibaka because they were both superiorly stronger than those two guys. So those two would have to really try to stretch out the floor.
Yep.
I think Russ and SGA would actually be an interesting matchup because their speed and athleticism is. I think that would be fun to watch. Are you putting J-Dub on KD? Or do you want to put Dort on someone, because Robinson's not going to be you'd probably put the weakest, not that he's the weakest offender, but you're probably putting SGA on Robeson or J-Dub on Robeson, because it's just give him a break on defense a little bit.
Well, let's double back to what you just said, Tone, about Russ. Well, Russ, who is going to create shots, is going to try to create shots for Steven Adams, because Steven Adams is another guy who doesn't really put a lot of pressure on the offense. So Russ has got to create shots for him. But with Russ creating shots for him, one of the main reasons why KD left was because of what, Tone? We don't have any spacing. What does this Oklahoma City team do on an elite level? They guard on the perimeter, which means that we can force Russ into turning into a turnover machine.
Yeah.
We could 100% do that with him and force him into a turnover machine. So with this 2016 Thunder team, I don't think that there's enough scoring. I don't think that there's guys who put enough pressure on the defense. And I think that this Oklahoma City team in 2025 on the perimeter put way more pressure on them and way more pressure on the offensive team. I think that they smoked these dudes, Stones, in 5, maybe 6 games. I think they smoked them.
Oh, I had 5. I have 2025 and 5.
I think they smoked them dudes in 5, 6 games tops.
I have 2025 and 5. I will ask anyone that wants to come on. This is the topic. Is who you got, 2016 or 2025. I will quickly say, and I know that he may have left already, but let me just quickly address this who's telling me they was telling him how to spend their money, and he said about going broke, it's your own money. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, Fluent, you suggested degrees in financial literacy to these NBA draft picks, so don't act like you have no clue. I have no clue, because that doesn't mean it tells you how to spend your money. All that's telling you is it's teaching you something about money, financial literacy. It's understanding
not the same thing.
Investments. It's understanding financial jargon, understanding how it works, and then you make the decision on how you spend it. So that's what I meant with that.
Right.
Lastly, before we bring anybody up, we're going to have the last 10 minutes to bring people up. But there's one other topic. There's one other topic that we have not touched on at all, and it's your favorite topic.
LeBron James.
Oh boy.
Him and Stephen A. Smith are having, as I call it, a scripted WWE promo to sell tickets to something. I don't know what they're selling tickets to, but I don't believe this for 1 second that it's not 100% scripted. I think it's a bull crap lie. That being said, I do take one. He went on that show and said a couple of things. One, let's blame the media again, but don't blame the media, because the media gives you what you want. So you want bad takes, you want toxic environment, you want debates. That's what you want. So that's what they gave you. You go to them when they talk crap about each era. You don't come to the guys that tell you the truth about every era. You go to the people that talk smack or tell you what you want to hear, like Nick Wright. You go because you want confirmation bias. So I don't like that he did that. He mentioned that the 07 Cavs stunk, and that was, I think, a gross understatement. And he literally went from a guy who and then he said,
did he say that they sucked, Tone? Did he say that they
I have no idea how we made it to the finals.
He said the same thing about the 2011 Heat. He said, I have no idea how we made it to the finals. He said that about them.
That's grossly unintelligent for a guy who I think knows basketball and respects the history of basketball.
Yeah.
Like, he was really, like, honestly, the only thing I think of is dude was just trolling. Like 100% just trolling. And then said Giannis would score 250 points in the 70s.
He did say that. Yes, he did say that. Mm-hmm.
And all of those things are a load of crap, because let me start off with the one that bothered me the most, which was the 07 Cavs. What have I told you and what have I proven to you about every single NBA championship? Superstar scorer, secondary scorer, defender, rebounder, a couple of quality role players who can knock down shots, get rebounds, and play defense.
Good coach too, by the way.
And yeah, no, it doesn't have to be the greatest coach, but a good coach.
No, you told me good coach. That's what you told me. You said a good coach. We don't need Phil Jackson. No, we don't need Red Auerbach, but we need somebody that's not going to kill us.
Sure. What did that 07 Cavs team have? Well, they had the best player in the world, right? Who is a facilitator, makes his teammates better, and a premier scorer. They had a secondary scorer in Larry Hughes. They had guys who could knock down shots off the bench, and whether they did it or not, right, when it mattered. But Sasha, Mo Williams, Delonte West, they had rebounders. They had
Mo Williams wasn't on that team in 2007. He wasn't. He didn't show up to 2009, 08-09. Mo Williams. He didn't show up to 2008.
No, Mo Williams.
Not in 07. He wasn't.
Larry Hughes. I'm sorry, Larry Hughes.
Yeah, Larry Hughes.
I was having a conversation about the 2010 team. My apologies.
No problem.
Larry Hughes as a secondary scorer.
Mm-hmm.
Sasha. They had an all defensive.
Danielle Marshall, Eric Snow. That's what they got on that. That's what they got on that crew.
Verjo and a big in Big Z, who, by the way, don't look at him today. Today he wouldn't make it onto the court. But in 07, a big center was still important to a team. They were the fourth best defensive rated team in the league. He didn't do it alone. Now, let's be clear. I'm not saying they're a great team. I have them as the third worst team to ever make an NBA final. So I'm not suggesting they were a great team.
With the exception of who, Tone? So if they're the third worst, who are the other two?
I've got the 94 Rockets and the 81 Rockets. The
94 Rockets were one of the worst teams to make the NBA finals, Tone? Wow, Tone, that was a damn good team, man. But keep going.
Yeah. But for sure, the 81 Rockets is the worst. Losing record. Take Moses Malone off that team, and they'd be lucky to scrap together 5 wins. Like, your third best player, no offense, he's a great coach, Rudy Tomjanovich. Like, come on, get out of here.
He's an all-star, Tone.
Out of here. No, stop it. No, they stunk. That being said, so I'm not suggesting they were great. But you have all the pieces to be good. In the first round of the playoffs, you face a 500 team in the Washington Wizards who are missing their 2 best players.
No Caron Butler.
And no Gilbert Arenas.
No Gil. Did Gil play in that?
No, he did not.
The next year, right? So the year before that, in 06, he played. Okay, that's correct. And in 07, he did not.
So then you have a 500 Nets team, which has Jason Kidd, who's 33, 30-year-old Vince Carter. Your third best player is Richard Jefferson. No disrespect. And then after that, your best players are like Nakbar. Like, the drop off from player 3 to 4, when you look at the Cavs roster, it's actually significantly deeper. As bad as you want to say their roster was, significantly deeper. I will give them credit. They played great against the Pistons, but it wasn't the Ben Wallace defensive juggernaut Pistons. It was the Chris Webber. He was gone. Webber Pistons, but still impressive. It was still impressive.
Okay, first of all, stop right there, Tone, because Webb was nailed to the floor. If you watch that series, Chris Webber was nailed to the floor. He could hardly move.
I don't want to disrespect my guy. I really like C-Webb, so I don't.
I love C-Webb too, but he was nailed to the floor, 100%. He could hardly move. But keep going.
People are going to hear his name and give him more credit, so I won't disrespect him. I'll give them credit.
Webb was over.
But you also needed 31 from Boobie Gibson in Game 6 to get by them. Okay, so that was another name that I meant. I said Mo Williams and I meant Boobie Gibson.
Sure.
Old age kicking in. So you get to the final and you get swept. Cool. You should have lost to the Spurs. With the exception of the Game 4, with the exception of game 4, you were losing that series regardless. You were losing that series. But game 4, okay, he goes 10 of 30, 2 of 6 from the free throw line. They lose a 1-point game. Give him a little bit of grief, but a big deal. Then you lose in 5. Okay, big deal.
Tony, the way I've heard it is all James got to do is play the way he played in the playoffs, and they win that series. That's what I heard.
No, stop it. Oh,
that's what I said.
And you know how I feel about him. So I'm telling you, there's no chance, no way, no how
they're not beating them. They're not. They're not beating San Antonio.
That one game. It should have been a 5-game series. It should have been a 5. So coming out and saying, I don't know how we did it, this roster, how the roster was constructed. Listen, you don't need all the big names. That's what he believes. I honestly think sometimes you don't need the big names. He had a well-constructed roster in the sense of you had a scorer. Now, you lose Larry Hughes too, right? He's not playing in the finals. But I'm not talking about in the finals. I'm talking about getting there. You have a scorer, a secondary scorer, a rebounder, a defender, and shooting off the bench. That's how you build a team. That's how you're successful. Look at all of them. So, and you get lucky in the first 2 rounds, building up momentum against 2 teams that you're significantly better than, right? We're comparing two 500 teams, one of which was missing their 2 best players, and you're a 50-win team. You're still a much better team. The best player on the court in every one of those series was LeBron, and in a couple of them, the second best player was still on the Cavs.
Was he better than Duncan at that time?
No, I'm not talking about. I said you're getting to the finals. We're not talking about the finals.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm talking about against Washington, Detroit, and the Nets. He's the best player, and in a couple of those, Larry Hughes is probably the second best player.
Right.
So what are we talking about here? How bad were they? So I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of that.
Did I do that? I'm sorry, Tone. I didn't mean to do that. If I did that,
no problem at all. All right. So we are almost at time. So let's bring in. We only have like a short period of time. Give us your 2 cents.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Fluent?
How's it going?
Chill. Yeah, but only reason I was saying something to you, Fluent, about, man, I hate when somebody else try to count somebody else's money. The millionaires go broke all the time. We know that. And what
he's trying to do. He's trying to prevent that, though. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to prevent that. That's the idea.
I'm not telling them how to spend their money, and they're not millionaires at this point. What I'm saying is, you're coming into my profession. I'm running this. And the prerequisite to come here is you have to have 2 years of financial literacy, because I know I'm being financially responsible for myself, because I know I'm going to give you millions of dollars. I want to know that you understand it. What you do with it is up to you. You want to go out and throw it in the water? That's on you, bro. You want to in your neighborhood to be your security? Go ahead.
Okay.
But I know you got 2 years of understanding how money works in this country. And just like if you're a doctor, do you want a doctor that's never gone to school? No, you expect him to have gone and gotten his PhD. So it's a profession where you're a millionaire. You're allowed to say this is the minimum requirement to be here, whether it's age, education, like anything. They do it in every other profession. That's all I'm saying for the NBA. Now that, again, now that they're getting paid in NIL, and it's not a thing of, hey, I'm living, I barely have food in my fridge to survive. I need to go to the NBA to make money. Those days are thankfully kind of coming to an end with people being able to go to college and get paid.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from. Yeah, it's a not save the world type of thing. But people get a lot of money and blow their money all the time. And I get it. And you're trying to fix some things that's been going on since the day of time. People make money, they blow money. And you people that study it and see it, you're just watching the train crash over and over and over. And you wish you had a solution to it. That solution hasn't worked. You've been studying it and you still don't have a solution to it. And I know it. They're still going to buy gold chains. They're still going to buy cars. They're still going to buy planes and blow their money. That's all I was saying. I'm like, you trying to tell people you should get, as a prerequisite, you should have to go through this course, which you know how that happens when you get a job. They really do make these guys go to certain trainings, which they should when they get on these NBA teams. No, you need to go through some type of financial literacy type of course, and they actually do, and they still blow their money. You know they do, bro. They really do.
I know they do. That's what I'm saying. But that's at least I know that as a responsible adult,
Right.
I put this teenager in a position to be successful. Whether
That's
they
very responsible.
whether they were successful or not, that's on them.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time. I think you have a playback. Is that why you got? Okay. So appreciate you. Thank you for jumping on. Sorry, Rel. Do you have time for one more or no?
Yeah.
Okay, one more.
We good.
Just quickly, Rel.
What up?
Oh, Rel dropped off.
Oh,
So
we had him. Nope. We had him and then we didn't.
No problem. He dropped out.
No problem.
What game you guys doing on playback?
That's a good ass question, Tone. I don't have playback tonight. No, I'm not on playback tonight.
You just need to go. Okay, my bad. I thought you had to go because of playback. Well, in that case, it's still time to go because it's 10:01. Let's try to finish on time once.
How about that? Let's finally finish on time one time. So how about that? It's good to see you guys tonight. Y'all know what time it is when y'all see us every Tuesday night. Me and my man Tony Tone. This is where we do it at on the Chilltown Hoops and Sports Fluent Network. We will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey man, call your mother. When's the last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. I just talked to my mother a couple of days ago. We will talk to you guys soon. But until then, take it light. Take it.
Now we can go watch this Warriors game. Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey man, call your mother. It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.